ARESxGOD here, and it's time to talk about Suicide Squad that we had right here with this episode of Hell's Paradise. And honestly, this felt like a poetic episode, in a way, especially with the beginning focused more on Sagiri, her background, her motivations, her own struggles. And towards the end, the violence from Gabimaru, but also his way of looking at life and death over here. And I'm glad seeing the dynamics between them, their motivations. Was a really good episode. Honestly, I liked this episode more than episode 1. So let's get into it and talk about it. Now, at the beginning, it starts with this flashback focused on Sagiri, about her history, her family, her clan, her own struggles here, witnessing an execution performed by her father, with a storyteller wanting to keep telling his story while he was being beheaded, and he didn't even realize when his head was taken clean off. That's how skilled her father is. He was perfect. He didn't realize. And she got inspired. She wanted to be able to do the same thing there. And we see slowly how she got up to that point, but how dismissive others can be, especially with those backhanded compliments. She got brilliant work for a woman, still dismissing and putting her down there, and herself also having her own fears, doubts about everything and about what she was doing, about not being good enough, and that was reflected in the truth of the sword, how she also put it there. And her own understanding after what happened in this episode was pretty damn amazing. But you see, before reaching that, her wanting to eliminate that doubt and fear. Now, back in the present a bit, we see the beginning of the expeditions here, a bunch of criminals being gathered there to meet the Shogun, to present to them this expedition, this deal for the elixir, for them to go find it and also get a pardon. And you get to see a bunch of them criminals. Some are scum of the earth more than the others, especially this guy Adachi. He was like, I want my pardon just so I can go killing again. Like, you're a piece of shit, honestly, Adachi there. But at the same time, we see it also through the eyes of Sagiri. She wanted somebody to kill without emotion, somebody to have that same moment that her father had. Also looking at Gabimaru, will he be able to offer her that? But I hope the series doesn't end on a sad note, as in after they find the elixir, or if they find the elixir, I don't want her to be the one to kill Gabimaru. Maybe she's gonna choose something else. This got me thinking a bit about the ending of the series. I don't want Gabimaru to die, especially after this episode. We're gonna talk a bit more about that. Now, we have this mysterious girl, which we find out later. I think her name was Yuzuriha. She knows Gabimaru by his reputation, but she was a bit disappointed in him. She expected more, which she got more towards the end of the episode there. Now, the curious thing that happened here, they are shown a person that came back alive, well, sort of alive, from the paradise, with the flowers growing all over his bodies there. And I would choose death in that moment if I could. I don't think that's life anymore. He came back with blisters all over his body, and then flowers started blooming. But this is just something very, very creepy. There's always gruesome, violent ways, explosive ways dying like this, but this, I don't know, this kind of creeps me out a bit more than something like that, especially after what we got in this episode. That's not a good way to go out. Now, there's also some very important questions. What if the elixir is not there? One of them saying, I refuse to go, but before he could even finish his sentence, his head is just instantly cut off, because this expedition is gonna have a lot of restrictions, to say the least. All of them are gonna be monitored, even on the island, so they're still under execution, like typical Suicide Squad. They don't have the chip, of course, implanted in their neck, but they have a sword at their neck. In this case, the Asaemon clan. Each of them are responsible for one of the criminals, and also their lives are tied together, because if their assigned monitor dies, they also die, or if he's missing, they're not allowed on the boat. So it's either two of them or none of them, or at least just the monitor there. But things also got a bit more complicated. There's too many of them. I was like, hey, are we gonna have a battle royale? And my mom was like, battle royale, battle royale, battle royale, battle royale. Give it to me. And one of the criminals there instantly understood the situation, takes initiative, killing another. I think it was Aza, if I remember his name correctly. Kind of like him. I feel like he's gonna be one of the important characters in the series. Even the Shogun was enjoying the battle royale. All of them started killing each other. They're like wild animals, but we see there's a few special individuals that are marked with red seals, the more skilled ones. The bandit leader, Yuzuri had a Kunoichi girl, a swordman, a giant, and Gabimaru, the legends, and a few other. But while the fighting was happening, what I think the best part of the episode for character development was not the fighting, just the conversations that were had here, especially with Aizen and Sagiri. Him telling her, you are not suited for something like this. As a woman, you shouldn't be doing this. Now, his character, first impression, I think he is kind of that entitled old traditionalist that doesn't think women can do his job or a job similar to this. But also got me thinking, what if there's a bit more to this? Maybe he just cares very much for her and doesn't want for her to bear this burden, which is very important. We're gonna get to that. I might be completely off and he's just an asshole. I hope not, because, well, Gabimaru has his wife, his reason to live there. Sagiri has a reason, but she doesn't have something to live, somebody to live also for. Her reason is Death Runner, considering how she has been brought up, her upbringing there. We even see a bit of flashbacks with how the Yamada clan always make death their service, even after they kill somebody, making medicines out of the body. We see their reputation is not that good, they're mostly fear. She was even getting bullied as a kid, and that's how she chose the sword, to see the truth in the sword there. And even some of the criminals in the present tried to go after her. She just instantly decapitated them very easily, saying she's gonna choose her own fate, but she still has doubts. This was probably my favorite moment that we had here in the series, of course, besides the fighting here. Well, just after she finished saying that, we have Gabimaru in the background. He instantly went to the Shogun. Killing people is never okay, and I didn't expect this to come from him, considering his reputation, everything he has done, or at least what we know so far. And yes, that's very true. And even the way he put it, showing how he views the world, not killing people is the natural thing. And okay, this has some depth a bit, at least to Gabimaru, considering his position and him being regarded as the Hollow, which kind of shows him as the more humane one from every other character that we have seen so far. Even Sagiri, but she's probably gonna understand a bit more, especially about Gabimaru after this moment over here. And we have one of the samurais under the Shogun saying to some, hey, if you kill this guy, referring to Gabimaru, you're gonna be allowed to go on the expedition. I was laughing so much at that dude picks up the rock. Yes, I'm gonna kill you, I don't care, this doesn't bother me, you're typical bozo, so to say, rip bozo. And he throws the rock at Gabimaru, like, he dodges the like Matrix style from bullets, except it's a rock. And the dude was, hey, don't dodge that. Like, why? He's just gonna stay there allowing you to kill him. But this is what I hate also in characters, because if it was, let's say, a different series, you have all of the ideals. Killing is never correct, it's always wrong, you shouldn't kill people. Even if they come after you, even if they do something very evil, you should never kill them. Even if they destroy your life, killing is never okay. But what I really liked about Gabimaru up to this point, he was just blunt and direct. If you try to kill me, I will kill you. And yes, please, this is why I don't like very morally correct characters in a series, because you have somebody coming after you to kill you. What are you gonna do? Just gonna stand there? Being idealistic is always nice and correct. I wish the world was like that, especially here in this series, but it's not. And then they get a very heavy dose of reality on why he is the legend. Instantly goes after that guy, rips his throat, starts destroying them, even biting them to death, like chopping them with his hands still tied, just punching their guts. Like, yes, yes, this is what I wanted to see, more violence with this series. But it was something beautiful about that violence, especially after the words he said there, and kind of resonated a bit with Sagiri, saying she shouldn't have been afraid of killing. She needed the resolve to take on the burden of the lives she takes, the responsibility, the weight of it, everything. Like that, she even got a bit teared up there. So yes, a life has value, and there's a burden on taking your job as an executioner. And I don't think she fully understood that, at least up until this moment. She was just amazed by that moment she experienced with her father there, but she only saw one side of it. She kind of had like half of the coin there, and I feel like Gabimaru opened her eyes to the other half of what it means to kill somebody, or to also be killed at the same time. And this was probably the most beautiful moment in the episode here. So yeah, I'm really curious about their relationship. It seems like it's gonna be an interesting one, considering their positions, their views of the world, considering their situation that they are in now, also the mystery of the paradise, the island, the elixir of life, like that. But really interesting in what's going to happen between them as characters. And this is why I don't want for it to end with on a sad note, so to say, with Sagiri killing Gabimaru at some point. Maybe there's gonna be a different solution. I don't know, I just want both of them to live. Gabimaru has his wife that we find out from episode 1. Hopefully he's gonna find out that the chief of his village was the one that killed his parents. Also the mystery regarding his parents. Of course, we don't know the power system yet, but with Sagiri, she finally found an answer to the doubt and fear that she always had. And I'm very curious about Aizen, the guy that was always talking with Sagiri. So after that we get a bit of introduction to some of the characters. Aza, the guy that took initiative first, the bandit, Tamiya, Keiun, Keishu, Yuzuriha. There are a bunch of characters, the giant. 10 of them are selected to go to this paradise where it's all good and nice, there's no danger. Of course, an interesting presentation, especially after the flower guy that we had at the beginning of the episode. So yeah, this series definitely has my attention. It looks beautiful, I'm intrigued in the mystery, but honestly, what I liked the most so far were the dynamics between Sagiri and Gabimaru. I think they have done an amazing job with that in just 2 episodes. Maybe it's gonna land flat after a few more episodes, but I know so far I'm really liking it. Also, the violence there was awesome, and I'm very curious about what's with this paradise here, what exactly is happening there. It looks like we're gonna have some very interesting characters to get to know a bit better moving on, so can't wait for next episode. Now, I'm really curious what you guys thought about this episode. What do you think about the conversation with Sagiri and Gabimaru there, everything they've said, and what do you think about the new characters that have been a bit introduced in this episode? So let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, helps me quite a lot, and you guys get the latest videos on the series that I follow. So keep enjoying Hell's Paradise, It's an amazing series so far. I'm gonna see you again in the next one. Bye bye.